U.S. Surgeon General cautions about the devastating youth mental health crisis following rising numbers of suicide and depression. So this kind of goes along with the preventative aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's been widely reported that during the pandemic, drug use increased drastically, but sadly, there has been a devastating trend regarding the youth mental health crisis. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, the pandemic has contributed to an alarming rise of depression and suicide in young boys and girls. They report that mental health struggles among the youth was already concerning before COVID-19 pandemic began back in 2020, but as the pandemic continued on, there is now a mental health crisis that is of enormous concern. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy recently produced a 53-page advisory explicitly detailing the devastating consequences to the mental health of young people if the issue proceeds to go unaddressed. In his document, it was highlighted that during 2019 and 2021, emergency room visits for suicide attempts went up 51%.
Wow.
For young girls and 4% for boys.
That is crazy.
Additionally, depression and anxiety rates doubled during the same time period, as 25% of children reportedly were diagnosed with anxiety and depressive symptoms. Discussing his findings, Murthy explained, "It would be a tragedy if we beat back one public health crisis only to allow another to grow in its place. Mental health challenges in children, adolescents, and young adults are real and they are widespread, but most importantly, they are treatable and often preventable." He added that virtual schooling and being away from friends and extracurricular activities also contributed to this sad reality. Even before the pandemic, this is his quote, "Even before the pandemic, an alarming number of young people struggle with feelings of helplessness, depression, and thoughts of suicide, and rates have increased over the past decade. The COVID-19 pandemic further altered their experiences at home, school, and in the community, and the effect on their mental health has been devastating," he said. You'll recall, this is the last part, you'll recall that there has been years of discussion regarding the impact of social media on the youth and how it affects their mental health in ways that include suicide, drug use, depression, and body dysmorphia. Here's the thing. No shit. No shit, dude. Just like getting vitamin D and getting sun is going to help you with any type of virus.
Yeah.
But you didn't talk about that. You know? So don't act like, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, you shut kids in a room all day. You don't let them interact with each other.
Dude,
And their mental health is going to be affected.
Just as an adult, like staying at home all day, you feel like shit.
Oh, I did that yesterday and felt like shit.
You feel like shit. Like if I don't leave my place by like noon, I feel like shit. I feel like I didn't do anything all day.
Yeah.
So like having kids and like, I mean, before, like, dude, how many corporate people work at a desk like 10 hours a day in an office and like feel like shit? And now you expect kids to do that?
Right.
Like kids who can't even, we can't even focus for that long. And you want kids to do that? Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
I kind of on this like topic, I want to say like a month ago, I was listening somewhere, I think somewhere in the East Coast, maybe Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, I don't know. But there was this like growing debate in like the school board meetings that were like it got a lot of coverage, it got a lot of media coverage because it was like this huge debate of like parents about like reopening schools and stuff. And there was a teacher that like got interviewed and she's like, these meetings are so stupid because you guys are debating on like whatever your opinion on like mask, no mask wearing and stuff, where like, yeah, sure, you can debate about that, but there's nothing being done for like what's actually happening now. Like I have kids in my class that don't know how to talk to each other. I have kids that don't know like how to be a leader. Mm-hmm. Like the interaction that these kids missed and like where you develop the social cues of like being in school, like kids don't have that. So like on top of like all this mental health issues, like these kids they're like awkward. They're not developing like the skills they need.
Yeah. Because
they haven't been in school. There's no social gatherings. So like that's a big part of like also developing is like the social aspect of like you need to be around other people.
Yeah.
Like you just need that. Which is like, it's just weird. Like I can't imagine not having that as a kid.
Well, I mean, yeah. And going back to this article, I mean, they act like this came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the way they say it is like, in his document, it was highlighted that during 2019 and 2021, emergency room visits for suicide attempts went up 51% for young girls. What about 2020? I mean, that's the year we shut down.
Yeah.
Do you want to put that in? Like, 2019 means nothing to me unless you want to act like this was a thing that was happening before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And just think about that. And then the last paragraph is this blanket statement. You'll recall that there has been years of discussion regarding the impact of social media on the youth and how it affects their mental health in ways that include suicide, drug use, depression, and body dysmorphia. What a shutdown. For years we've been talking about how social media has been messing them up. So keep that in mind. Don't get too mad about the shutdown.
I do think they did say the shutdown added to it. I think they downplayed a little bit, like the impact that it actually had, but they did say it just added to that.
But you can tell the flare at the end. It's like, that doesn't help us. Yeah. Yes, we've all known that social media is, like, when you give a kid a phone and social media, it's not good for them.
Yeah.
Like, we've already had those studies on depression and suicide. But now, a 51% spike in girls in emergency rooms attempting suicide.
Yeah, it is weird that it said in this document it was highlighted that during 2019 and 2021.
Right. Yeah. Like, this was happening before. But yeah, dude, it's like that was, as a trainer, those two things are what we have issues with.
Yeah. You
wanna scare people into getting a vaccine and make them feel as that's the only thing that they can do for themselves. Yes. To protect themselves, or something to do as a preventative, right? That's it. Tell them to work out. Tell them,
eat better.
But that doesn't make them money, That doesn't make a pharmaceutical company money. So you can't say that.
I have this debate with my mom all the time.
Yeah.
Because I had to get vaccinated. I did get vaccinated.
Yeah.
But before that, my mom was like, so when are you going to get, like, your vaccine? I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm making sure, like, I'm walking, I'm eating well, I'm, like, keeping my body, like, healthy to make sure, like, that if I do end up getting it, knock on wood, I still haven't gotten COVID, but
yeah,
if I do end up getting it, I'm gonna, like, increase my chances of, like, being okay. Like, I am doing something. I'm doing something every day to make sure that, like, I'm healthy.
Right.
Is I'm not just, like, throwing my hands up in the air and saying, oh, this is the only way to do it. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing something that's, like, preventing me from getting sick.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just having that debate with her. It's like,
and she was like, you need to get vaxxed now.
Well, I mean, she just, like, older woman, news, scared.
Right, of course.
My mom thinks, like, everything in the world is bad. Like, don't do that. That's dangerous. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, and it's even worse when, like, I see her, like, not eating well sometimes. I'm like, well, what are you doing there?
Right.
Like, I mean, I'll call her out on it, not trying to be, like, an asshole, but, like, I'll play with her, like, well, like, look, you got vaccinated, but, like, do you think it stops there?
Right.
Like, that's not the only thing that's going to do something. Like, how about you increase your chances, like, with other stuff?
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a big issue with that.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, they weren't telling anyone to get healthier. Like, these are other things you can do.
Yeah. Physically or mentally.
Yeah.
Right. And now we act like this is like, dude, there's no way. Like, if my kid was in a shutdown, like, I would find something for him to do outside. I would have him outside doing something. Yeah. Or her, like, they would be outside doing something. Like, absolutely. I would form, like, a neighborhood kids society. Like, they would have to get together.
Yeah.
Especially when their chances of surviving COVID are like the chances of dying for a kid are so low. It's almost like unheard of.
Yeah. And when you're outside, it's like, it's really hard to get COVID.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
let's be honest.
If you ask some of the joggers around here, they'd beg to differ. You ever see those joggers with a mask on?
Yeah. Or people on bikes.
Oh yeah, on bikes too.
Makes no sense.
It's like, you're going so fast.
Dude, there was like 4 times where, like, I was I was around people who had COVID,
Yeah.
but I was outside. Like I was playing soccer, and like this happened twice. Like
Yeah.
someone came, they didn't realize they had COVID, but we played, and everyone like as soon as you found out, it's like okay, you got to like quarantine, go get tested. Not a single person got COVID off of those people.
Wow.
One of my best friend, someone at his job or his dad got sick on like Saturday or like Friday, was feeling bad. Clearly he's around his dad. Sunday we saw him at the beach. He jumped on top of my friend. Like we were like, like
Right.
close contact.
Yeah.
Not a single of us got COVID. And that happened like 2 more times.
Wow.
Like after that, I understand like there's whatever research you want to read, but like personal experience,
Yeah.
if you're outside, it is hard to get COVID. And I'm not saying like
seems
other
like
people,
it, yeah.
I'm sure other people like got COVID right away just by being outside. But my personal experience, like it was so hard to get COVID that being outside, I felt so comfortable.
Right.
I felt so comfortable.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, I don't feel like I need to wear a mask outside, especially if I'm running or
Yeah.
on a bike. Like me going past you like 20 miles per hour is going to give you COVID.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think so. I think I agree with you. I'm saying I agree with you. I don't think it would, but yeah, you got some paranoid people out here that love to wear that mask. I mean, but like I understand it because like if you're watching CNN all day and you see that death toll on the corner,
The little clicker.
well, you're gonna be less stressed. Nah, you're gonna be more stressed for sure.